around 9:45 we will be beginning our speeches. I think we'll have about 6 to 7 speakers, and then after that we'll go through our chants and we will start marching up to the high school, where we will be having a moment of silence and then heading back to Centennial Park to conclude our march.
I'd like to thank you all for coming out today to demand that your voices be heard. I especially want to thank our peers that are here today, because your voices are the ones that matter the most. It is incredibly inspiring to see, but also heartbreaking and infuriating. It should not be our job to march for sensible change that has not occurred 7 months after our school shooting. We should not have to bear the responsibility of protecting our schools. This is the role of our legislators, yet some are unable to support responsible gun reform policies over the lives of children. In Oxford, we know firsthand the damage gun violence has on a community. And we know firsthand that thoughts and prayers are not enough. While many of our legislators refuse to enact sensible gun laws, children continue to die, and we are expected to recover and move on until the next mass shooting forces us to relive our pain. This is why we must take a stand now. Our mission today is to push legislators to enact sensible gun laws, including safe storage, universal background checks, red flag laws. With this march, we are reminding the legislators who work 2 hours away in Lansing and 560 miles away in Washington, D.C., that we are not complacent. We will continue to demand legislative change for our friends and family who were taken from us at Oxford High School, for the other 185 children who have been murdered in their classrooms since Columbine, and for the other 50 million students who risk their lives at school each day. So as our march begins, I would like to remind you that the best form of democracy is peaceful, and that the foundations of democracy are built by the people. I would like to extend our gratitude to all that made this march possible. Next, I would like to introduce the co-vice president of NFWT and march organizer, Maddie Johnson.
Hello everyone, my name is Madeline Johnson, but most people just call me Maddie. I'm the co-vice president of No Future Without Today. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to all the people who came together to make this possible. Thank you to March for Our Lives for helping us put on this event. Thank you to all of our generous donors who donated all of our banners, t-shirts, and signs and supplies. Oxford Strong Community, Wildfire Graphics, the Happy Little Home Shop, Signorama, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much to all of our Thank you so much to all of our wonderful volunteers who are taking their time spending today with us to make sure that everything goes smoothly and safely. We appreciate your support more than you know. I'd also like to recognize our police presence we have here today. Many of the police you might see here today were also with us during the tragedy of the 30th, and they saved many lives. We all feel so much appreciation and gratitude for the Oxford Police Department, and we always will. And finally, thank you to all the Oxford students that I see here in the crowd today. We could not have done this without your support. Out the signs you see in front of us here. These signs are scattered around the area, and they have a QR code that will take you to our link tree. Here we will have links to many resources, including our websites, donation sites for March for Our Lives, and No Future Without Today. We also have the sites for all the t-shirts for our victims. Donations are never expected, but always appreciated. I'm going to hand it off to Aubrey and Sophia now.
My name is Aubrey Greenfield, and I am one of the lead organizers for the March in Oxford. To add, I am also the communications director for our nonprofit No Future Without Today, as well as a rising senior at Oxford High School.
My name is Sophia Ziegler. I am also one of the lead organizers for this march. I coordinated most of our t-shirts and everything else with March for Our Lives, and I'm also a rising senior at Oxford High School.
We should not have to be here today. This march shouldn't be necessary, but it is. It's necessary because the issue of gun violence is so vast and devastating that it impacts those that aren't even directly involved. No child should ever have to use a calculus textbook as a potential weapon in their classroom. Have to barricade their classroom door with bookcases out of fear someone might break in and harm them. No child should ever feel unsafe at school, a place where the only events should be making friends and learning. This event today is personal for everyone here. We are all gathered here today as co-workers and neighbors, as family and friends, and as teachers and students because we care about making sure that no one has to be affected by gun violence any longer. Many of us here have lived through it and know that it is the worst imaginable feeling. That feeling of the world spinning around you, the feeling of being completely helpless and feeling like you're just an echo. That feeling should never be felt by anyone ever again. We are tired of letting others control our future. It's time that we determined our own destinies and let those in power know what we want. Tired of all talk, but no action. We want action, and it's up to us to be that change. Before the speeches begin, we would like to thank Oxford and all of the communities that have rallied around us, providing us with so much love and support as we have all grieved and healed together. We are so incredibly grateful for everyone and their kindness, whether it's been through letting our sports teams bond at the local coffee shop or through Oxford nights at restaurants. This community has made us feel loved and like we matter. Also, I'd like to extend a huge thanks to John Schmidt, who so generously came today and set up our sound system.
In addition to the community, we would also like to thank all of the speakers who were so willing to share their expertise and stories with us today as we all fight for the future we want to see. Also, we are so appreciative of the parents in Oxford who vouched for us and helped us to have this event today. We truly could not have done it without you, so from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you so much. Now I would like to pass it to Dylan, who will introduce our first speaker.
We're so excited to have our first speaker, Jonathan Gold. John is the Michigan chapter president of Giffords Gun Owners for Safety, and he is here to talk to us today about what it means to be a responsible gun owner while advocating for change. Thank you, John.
Okay, before we start, I talk with my hands. I'm not used to holding the mic, so if I do this and you can't hear me, let me know. I have a prepared speech, but I want to start with something. I want to start about how I met these kids. I was in Lansing with State Senator Rosemary Bayer, who's here today, and Attorney General Dana Netzel, who's here today. We were trying to get some bills out. I'm going to start a little political and then I'm going to get personal. My organization, Gun Owners for Safety, exists because we want people like you to know that not every gun owner walks lockstep with the NRA every day. The NRA has somehow convinced the entire country that every person who owns a gun walks right along with them. That's a lie. We are now in all 50 states. We are growing every day. We are partnering with the other groups here, March for Our Lives, Moms Demand Action. We are gun owners and we want to help build a better world. And here's where I'm going to get personal. We let you down. To all of the kids in this audience, we let you down. We let laws get thrown out. We let pieces of legislation go through. When the Clinton legislation was abandoned by a president later than him, we didn't do anything, and this happened. So I'm going to start by saying I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry we let you down. But we're coming back. Slaughter is too easy in this country and it needs to stop. I do support the Second Amendment, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I know that my Second Amendment rights and supporting practical gun safety measures are not mutually exclusive. They are necessary, they are prudent, and they are urgent. I am not your usual gun safety advocate, but I should be. I have taught marksmanship and pistol craft for over 2 decades. I've been shot, and I've lost 4 people close to me to firearm suicide in the last 6 years. I have the scars to remind me. One's on my arm, the rest are in my head. Gun violence leaves more than just scarred tissue. It leaves you more than with physical damage. I don't need to tell the kids in this crowd today. It leaves you with holes in your heart that tear at your soul. New paper, sorry. I used to ask for moments of silence for the victims of gun violence. I was that guy. I gave speech after speech. Some of the people behind me heard that speech over and over and over again. I have a new ask for you today. Never, ever be silent again. You know, some of us think this is a pretty new thing. We think it's been since Columbine, but it hasn't. It's been since the 1970s. This has been since semi-automatic weapons started coming home from Vietnam and went into the streets in our inner cities, where this all started. And then it moved out to the rural areas. This isn't where those people live. This is where everyone lives. Silence is what got us to a threat level where Buffalo shoppers got hunted in their grocery stores. Uvalde children were slaughtered, and obviously what happened here in Oxford happened. I use a line with my friends, I'm okay, but I'm not all right. Well, today I'm not okay and I'm not all right. I'm a gun owner and I'm angry. I'm angry that our government once again offers prayers while there are mass slaughters in our streets, our stores, and our schools. I'm angry that the leading cause of death for children 0 to 19 isn't cancer, isn't car accidents. No, it's bullets. It's gunfire. I'm angry that irresponsible gun owners here in Michigan, I had to change a speech. When I went to speak in Lansing, I told the kids I had to change my speech 4 times. The reason I had to change that speech is because 4 more babies died in 6 weeks because people didn't store their guns properly. 4 kids, 6 weeks. My anger has been a steady rise to a vicious boil, and I was going to say it's days like these it boils over. But the truth is, it's boiling over every day, every hour, every minute, every second. I'm always angry now. So I want you to be angry with me. I want you to get angry. I want you to get loud. And I want you to let every elected official in this state know you're angry. I want you to keep getting loud. They think you're going to quit. They think you're going to go away. They think this time isn't different. Make it different. Don't stop. So we need to turn our anger into action. We need to make partners, but we need to break down doors.
Yeah.
Especially in Lansing. We've been trying to get hearings on gun safety laws in Lansing for at least 5 years. We don't even have a hearing. Senator Shirkey promised us a hearing. Where the hell is it? And where the hell is he? Why aren't they here? I find a noticeable absence of people on that side of the aisle. I was lobbying in Washington all this week. Ethan's Law passed the House this week. Just so y'all know what Ethan's Law is, it's a safe storage law. I think in this round, a safe storage law should be a big deal. And now we'll wait on the United States Senate. We'll see if we have 10 Lincolns, 10 Republicans who are willing to walk over the aisle and vote for safety for these children. So the next piece of the speech is about me, but we don't want to talk about me today. Dylan sent me a text message last night asking if I needed to know anything else. And I sent him a message back that said, yeah, you never told me what you want me to talk about. And he said, as a gun owner, could you talk about what you'd like to see for our future? I'd like to see ERPO laws so that if there are mentally unstable people who have firearms, we cannot commit a crime when we take them away. And we don't take them away forever, we just take them away until they're not sick anymore. And we have due process for that too. We're not talking about someone being able to make a random phone call and get somebody's weapons taken away. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about due process in front of a judge and with the cooperation of the police. We're not talking about someone being able to make a random phone call in the middle of the night because they're mad at somebody. And we want to make sure that there are huge penalties for anyone who would make a false report like that. That's what red flag laws are all about. The other side is going to tell you, we want to confiscate people's guns. We don't. We want to keep people safe. I want to talk about universal background checks. 95% of America is in favor of universal background checks. And there's a myth out there that background checks lead to a list. The government, when they run background checks, it's the law, they have to get rid of the list. The record disappears after the background check is taken. That's the law. So the myth that's being spread that there's going to be a list. It's against the law, there's not going to be a list. But a universal background check system covering all 50 states with the same standards, so that once again we can keep convicted felons from accessing firearms. I don't think that's too much to ask for, do you? The last thing I want to talk about today is open carry. I don't see anyone open carrying in this audience except the police, who have a job to do, right? It's their job to keep us safe. That's why they're carrying. I'm a concealed pistol license holder, and I carry a gun. But I see no reason that I have to intimidate people at the supermarket. And I certainly don't need an AR-15 to go to Target to buy Oreos. Just because something is your right doesn't make it prudent. Just because something's legal doesn't make it right. So here, I had a dream this week. And I know that sounds like plagiarism, right? But I had a dream this week. I had a dream. I don't have kids. So I'm Uncle John, godfather to 8, and I got to watch all my friends' kids grow up, right? So before I got up to speak, I looked at all of their pictures. I scrolled Facebook. I asked my friends to send me pictures of all their children. And I thought about all of them at 8 years old, playing at recess. They should be able to play at recess without worrying about this. So I'm going to finish the same way I started. Kids, I'm sorry we let you down. I'm sorry you're here. I'm sorry we all have to be here. And I hope you can accept my apology.
John, thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise and experiences with us. It's people like you that show that when we put our minds together, we can accomplish anything, and we can accomplish and get what we want. Following John Gold is Michigan Fellow for Everytown for Gun Safety Survivor Network Lead, Detroit Group Lead, and Community Outreach Lead Mia Reed. Not only is she an activist, but she is also herself a gun violence survivor. I am pleased to welcome Mia Reed to the stage.
Thank you so much for having me here. And like John said, we are not okay. In the state of Michigan, on average, 456 people die due to gun violence every year. And Michigan has the 21st highest rate of homicides in this country. We need more than thoughts and prayers. We need action. As I stand here today, I am advocating for your children, my children, our communities, and our loved ones, our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, people we see at the grocery store, the corner store, the kids playing in the backyard next door. Unfortunately, I am also advocating as a gun violence survivor because my firstborn, my only son, Charles W. Reed, who we affectionately call Chuck, he was taken from me due to gun violence. He will forever be 24 years old. I carry my baby just like so many other mothers out here in my stomach for 9 months. I felt my baby kick. He was real. I loved my baby before he was born. His life mattered. And for all those mothers, for all those fathers, for all those parents who have lost their children due to gun violence, it is not the natural order of life. We have heard so many thoughts and prayers, and we appreciate it. We do. Who couldn't have empathy? Who couldn't have compassion? But thoughts and prayers are not enough. You've given your thoughts and prayers. Now what? Columbine High School. Now what? Sandy Hook Elementary. Now what? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Now what? Look at these babies. Oxford High School. Now what? I don't know. I can't tell you why. Here's what I do know. Every day, every single day, 110 people are killed due to gun violence. To my legislators, you heard John. He is a gun owner. 80% of gun owners agree with us. Do something.
Thank you so much, Mia Reed, for that truly powerful and wonderful speech. It's so important to hear from other survivors, from people from different perspectives. And thank you so much for clearing your schedule to come out here today. I know that it was a little bit of a hassle. Next, I would like to welcome up our own Oxford parent and Justin's mother, who's very special to us, Jill Suave, to speak.
My speech is going to be a little bit different. I'm not an expert on gun violence. I've never even been to a march like this. I'm just a grieving mother here standing before you with an open heart. I'd like to begin speaking directly to the Oxford students. Bear with me, this is challenging. I want you to know how unbelievably proud I am of you all. Your presence, your efforts touch my heart deeply. They motivate me and give me a deep sense of hope and positivity for the future. You are my heroes. Justin is well known for being kind, funny, smart, hardworking, and genuine, and in my opinion as a mom, devastatingly handsome. But Justin was no pushover. He shared Mom's hot Italian temper and passion. He had zero tolerance for bullying and injustice. Justin considered at one point going into law enforcement. He considered joining the military and even being a lawyer. He wanted to make this world a better place. He stood up for others. Justin isn't here with us today. He can't speak for himself. But I promise you, if he was able, he would be right here with us leading this march. Our lives were forever changed on November 30th. It's a deep wound filled with grief and trauma that no one should ever have to endure. My son is gone at the tender age of 17. He didn't succumb to an illness. He was killed, and the weapon used was a gun. School shootings are not normal, but they're happening at an alarming rate. In my heart, I know aftercare is important, but I also know that prevention is key. We didn't collectively get here as a country overnight, and we won't completely solve this issue overnight either, but we must try. We must do everything. We have to explore every avenue. We have to demand change. We must never give up. For what is a more worthy and deserving cause than protecting our children? In my opinion, common sense gun laws are desperately needed, and I'm saddened that I wasn't more aware of how vulnerable we all are. And students, again, speaking to you, I know there's people in this community that have been rude to you. They didn't want this march to happen, and that hurts. It hurts me too. It makes you feel like people don't care what happened to us. There will be opposition and it won't be easy, but you are our future, and you are striving the way for change. Kids, when you face opposition, when you encounter rude people, adults, older people, don't match that energy. Rise up with dignity and respect. That's what Justin would do. With manners in class, show them what a wildcat is, show them how you're educated, show them that you will never give up. And in closing, please don't let the world forget about Oxford. Don't let the world forget about Justin. If you promise me that, I'll promise you the same. I will fight for justice and change until my last dying breath. I will not let my son's death be in vain. And in closing, I thank you all. I love you all. I'm here to help in any way I can, and may God bless you and keep you safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill, for being here with all of us today. It means a lot. When gun violence strikes, first responders put themselves before all of us in order to keep us safe. One of them is with us today. He responded to the Oxford High School shooting on November 30th. It's my honor to welcome Captain Todd Hill to the stand.
Good morning. I'm Captain Todd Hill from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. On that terrible day at Oxford High School last November, I was inside the building and the scene commander. In my 27 years, this is the most challenging scene that I've ever been on, and I empathize with everyone's pain. The Sheriff's Office was asked to speak today about how deputies were trained in active shooter response and the importance for all departments to be trained in the same manner. Sheriff Bouchard has been crystal clear on this topic for many years. We train for the worst thing imaginable while hoping and praying that it never happens. But we train for it nonetheless. The sheriff requires a specific and direct response for active assailants. We are all going, no matter what our rank or our role at the agency. Furthermore, everyone has a duty to go in without hesitation or without delay. There is to be no staging or waiting for additional resources. We go in, seek out, and stop all threats, while seamlessly linking up with other first responders. Our entire team embraces this response. If you need help, we are coming in force. We are coming without delay. We are here for you 24/7. Sheriff Bouchard absolutely believes this should be the tactic, training, and policy for every police agency in the country, and has been encouraging that for years. He brought every police chief in Oakland County together in 2009 and asked that we train together on these kinds of tactics, and we have trained countywide ever since. We also train with our fire departments and our emergency medical service providers, ensuring that we are prepared for not only those large incidents, but also everyday response for the community. In closing, I'd like to say how proud I am of your teachers, the community, our first responders, but especially you, the students. We called on many of you to be heroes that day, and you answered with grace, strength, and courage. Moving forward, we are all in this together and remain steadfast. We are Oxford strong.
Thank you, Captain Todd Hill, for the things you did that day and the things you continue to do for Oakland County. I'd like to now hand it over to Sky Teaton, volunteer lead of North Oakland's Moms Demand Action and Michigan State lead for Be Smart for Kids.
A little high for me. Sorry. My name is Sky, and I'm a volunteer leader with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, right here in North Oakland County. I've been involved with this organization for 6 years. Moms Demand Action was started right after Sandy Hook, and 10 years later, we are still here. I live in Rochester Hills. I am not a resident of Oxford, but I am your neighbor.
Don't start
It's all right, you're good. It hurts to be here. It hurts to speak today. I have a real hard time looking out at everybody and making eye contact because all of our emotions are so close to the surface. As your neighbor, I want you to know how loved this community is. I want you to know that we in the surrounding areas, we've been grieving with you. That we have cried, and we have prayed, and we have ached for the loss of your children. And we have ached for your survivors, and we have felt your trauma alongside you. We think of you every day as we drop our children off at school, terrified. We scan the news, terrified of what's coming. And we, as your neighbors, we've been watching you all impossibly rise. We see you hold Hannah, Justin, Madison, and Tate in your hearts as you move impossibly forward, because the world impossibly goes on. You carry them in your hearts as you build memorial gardens, you establish foundations like 42 Strong, and nonprofits like No Future Without Today. That's incredible. On June 3rd, when it was National Gun Violence Awareness Day, your entire community went beyond thoughts and prayers. Your teachers, your students, your bus drivers, your cafeteria workers, your whole Oxford Schools community wore the color orange to honor their memories and your own experiences as gun violence survivors. We see you moving forward. We see you, students. We see you healing from your injuries inside and out. We see you refusing to let go, and nor should you. No one here deserves this pain. No sibling, no parent, no friend, no neighbor. We each deserve a life well lived. And sometimes our pain gives us our purpose, as it has so much in this beautiful, strong, amazing community. But it still hurts to say this out loud. And now it's time. It's time for us all, every single person in this square today, to turn to our legislators and demand that they protect us all. Demand that they do their job. Do their job. We elected them. They need to protect us all. They need to take action on the gun safety bills that are sitting in committee right now in Lansing. Waiting to be brought up for a vote. They're rotting like they have for the last I don't know how many cycles. There are separate sets of bills that will each provide a layer of protection for the citizens of this state against another tragedy, be it massive or be it small. Every day, 110 people die from gun violence in America. What the hell is that? And 2 weeks ago, elected officials in the Michigan Capitol said it was too soon to take action. It was too soon to protect another family from gun violence and losing loved ones to preventable acts of gun violence. Too soon. It's been 174 days since November 30th. I think. That might be wrong. Google told me that, so let's just blame the tech. Sounds wrong right now. Gun violence is preventable.
Yes, it is.
will be the death of this country. Don't let anyone tell you that nothing can be done. Don't let anyone tell you that there's just no way through this. Call your representatives on both sides. Who cares? Phone them. Every single time you phone or you email, you contact your legislator, it has to be recorded and passed on. That is law. Your voice matters. Your calls matter. Don't do it just once. Set an alarm on your phone. Do it 3 times a week. Make a pot of coffee, eat the frog, call your legislators. Do it before 9 a.m. Let's go. Make a plan. Call your senators. Tell them don't look away. Move on these bills. Put them to a vote. Make them laws. Call Mike Shirkey. If you need his number, I can bump you his contact. That guy needs to be held accountable. It's his job. We need speedy and efficient red flag laws in this state to prevent someone from harming us or, God forbid, harming themselves. We need safe storage laws to ensure that everyone is safely storing their firearms, locked and unloaded, with ammunition stored separately and away from children and at-risk individuals. We need domestic violence laws that prevents domestic abusers from owning firearms, because we know that a woman is 5 times more likely to be killed if there is a gun in the home in a domestic violence situation. We need our mothers just as much as we need our children. We need universal background checks on all gun sales, private and licensed, to go through the background check system. These laws will save lives. We demand action from lawmakers. Gun violence is preventable. We will not forget your children, because there is no such thing as other people's children, and we will not forget your pain. Oxford, we are here for you. We are here for Buffalo, for Uvalde, Chattanooga, and God knows what other place horrible acts of mass gun violence have occurred in the span that I've been standing here. This time it's different. This time it's different, because it happened here, and you can do something. We can end gun violence.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We are beyond grateful for you and the time you've taken out of your schedule to share your story with us. Next, I would like to introduce Oxford parent Linda Watson.
Not as good as you.
You got it.
All right. On February 16th, 2018, 2 days after 17 souls were taken from the world at Stoneman Douglas High School at the hands of someone using a legally purchased AR-15, I reshared a memorial video on social media from Parkland and wrote alongside it, "So sad. I cannot imagine their pain. I want to homeschool my kids." At that time, I didn't know that I'd be standing here. I didn't know that between then and now there would be 119 more school shootings. I didn't know that 2021 would be the year that had the most school shootings on record. But sadly, 2022 isn't over yet, is it?
No.
I didn't know that we didn't have common sense gun laws to enforce responsible gun ownership and to protect our kids from those who definitely don't have common sense. I didn't know that Michigan didn't have a safe storage law, and it would be so difficult to get those that we put in power to come together to pass something that should be 100% bipartisan supported. Mid-November, when my son called me from the school bus scared because of threats he was hearing, I didn't know I was lying to him when I told him that he was safe at school, that the school would protect him, and that he would be okay. I didn't know that a parent would purchase a firearm for a child in place of much needed mental health treatment and love. I didn't know then that that parent would give that child free access to that weapon because we have no safe storage law. And I definitely didn't know that on November 30th at 12:53, when my son called me screaming that he was going to say, "Mom, I've been shot. There's a school shooter. Help me." I didn't know. I didn't know that day, and following through to the morning, that we were going to lose 4 of our own. And that 7 were going to end up physically injured, including my son. And countless others were going to bear scars that are in the inside. And tragically, I didn't know that not even 6 months later, after Oxford, an 18-year-old would once again legally purchase weapons, 2 AR-style rifles, to take 21 lives in a school again. It doesn't matter, I'll wait. Are you done? We're not. I guess I didn't know a lot of things, including how much I would actually come to know, and how many people I would know, like Mary Mueller, Eli's mom, like Keegan's mom, like Kylie's family, like Connor's family, like Tate's family. Now I know that since Columbine, 311,000 children have experienced gun violence at school. I know that since Parkland, not enough has been done to remedy this problem. I know that no major gun legislation has passed in over a decade in the United States. I know that we have a mental health crisis that must be addressed, but without common sense gun reform, we're not looking at the whole picture. I know that it's possible to be a gun owner, a responsible gun owner, and want reform, because I am one. In 2018, I couldn't imagine what they were going through. Now I know. I feel it every day. Don't let what you don't know stop you from pushing for better, pushing for what is right and doing it right now. when is enough? Columbine was enough. Sandy Hook was enough. Parkland was enough. 119 shootings later was enough. Hannah, Justin, Madison, and Tate were enough. Aiden, Eli, John, Kylie, Keegan, Molly, Phoebe, and Riley were enough. My kids, your grandkids, these kids. Enough is enough.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Watson, for that speech. I'm sorry, I'm crying. I'd like to welcome up now an Oxford student and a classmate of mine, Raina St. Juliana.
One of the reasons that no progress has been made in controlling gun violence is that everybody has a different opinion on how to proceed. But I want you to look around. The people you see might be your friends right next to you. They may be acquaintances you may not know as well, or they may be strangers. However, all these people surrounding you, we are all united by the thing we share in common. We want to prevent gun violence tragedies. This is the first step forward. Often during active shooter drills in school, when I hid in a corner silently waiting for the pretend shooter to pass by our classroom, I wondered, why is it up to us kids to save ourselves? To practice hiding, barricading doors, and living in fear just because the adults have failed to do their part. Failed to act, and failed to even try and prevent these shootings from happening in the first place. It may have been easier to rely on the kids in the past, but our generation will not stand for that. Because we will not wait and do nothing as the next school shooter goes to a school. We will not wait and be the next victim. We should not have to be resilient after watching our friends die, and we should not have to be strong after our siblings are murdered. We will not accept a country where bullet casings are found in hallways, where blood is on the walls, and dead children's bodies lay on school grounds. Our town knows how no one is untouchable from gun violence, how it continues to spread, taking lives, hearts, and dreams with it. How by doing nothing, you are doing something. You are allowing children to be slaughtered. Because we all know, all too well, that thoughts and prayers aren't enough. The thoughts and prayers after Parkland didn't save Hannah, it didn't save Justin, it didn't save Tate, and it didn't save Madison. The thoughts and prayers after Oxford, it didn't save anyone from the Robb Elementary School shooting. There shouldn't be a next family that receives thoughts and prayers for something we can prevent. We can protect children by taking specific actions, by passing laws requiring safe storage for guns, limited magazine size, universal background checks, and extreme risk protection. No 15-year-old should have easy access to a semi-automatic handgun, just like no 18-year-old who is not considered responsible enough to drink or buy alcohol should be legally allowed to buy an assault. sufficient to stopping school shootings, but we can take steps in the right direction. We no longer have the choice of not doing anything, not moving forward because it's not a perfect answer. Standing still, not changing, that's a death sentence. My little sister Hannah was one of the 4 killed on November 30th at Oxford High School. People are killers as much as guns are enablers for those killings. My sister died because of the bullets in her body. I am calling on all of you to take action and demand that your political representatives, regardless of party affiliation, immediately take significant and meaningful action to make changes necessary to protect us all. Use your vote. Vote to make change by refusing to support any politicians that continue to block forward movement on gun violence. Protect our kids, not our guns. Thank you.
Raina, we thank you for being here with us today. Last but not least, please help me in welcoming our very own co-vice president, Maddie Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. First off, I just want to thank each and every single one of you again for being here. It means everything to me. My name is Madeline Johnson, and I'm a recently graduated Oxford student, but most people call me Maddie. Along with Raina St. Juliana, I'm a vice president of No Future Without Today. We are a student-led, nonprofit organization that focuses on gun violence prevention and mental health reform in order to prevent school shootings like the one we went through. To be honest, my biggest fear has always been public speaking, but I've been through things in my lifetime that make this not so scary at all. I'm here today for someone who I lost on November 30th. Madison Baldwin was my best friend. For those of you who didn't know her, the best way I can describe her to you is that she was like sunshine. She was so unbelievably intelligent. She was so caring and empathetic, and the type of friend that everyone wants, but most people never get. My favorite thing about Madison is the way she saw the world. Madison was ambitious, curious, and adventurous. She was always learning something new, always exploring, and always growing and evolving. She saw beauty in every little aspect of life, and she valued and loved the earth more than anyone I'd ever met before. She brought light and joy into every life that she touched. And that light hasn't left the world, even when she did. She is the reason that I have the strength to be here today and share my story. So to answer all the questions that people have been asking me for the past 7 months, yes, I was there that day. Yes, it started off as a normal day. I argued with my brother in the car on the way to school. He's a sophomore, and we drove together every morning. When he got out of the car, neither of us apologized or said I love you. Neither of us said a word. We never could have imagined what the day turned out to be. My 4th hour that semester was AP Stats, and I had it with Madison along with 2 other classes. She was trying to help me study for the upcoming test we had because I had never grasped the material in the ways that she had. After class ended, I was walking down the hallway with Madison to her next class, and we were talking and laughing like normal. My boyfriend realized that passing time was nearly over and that we were going to be late. So instead of walking Madison all the way to her class, I turned around and said goodbye. I still have that image of her smiling face stuck in my mind as she waved goodbye to me. That was the last time I ever saw her alive. The shooting started only seconds later before I even took another step down the hall. Classroom doors were shutting, so I had to run. I ran all the way to the parking lot, and then I hid behind a car because I was panicking so much that I couldn't breathe. My first thought was my little brother, our argument. He wasn't answering my texts, and there were a few minutes where I thought I'd never get to apologize or tell him I loved him. There were a few minutes where I thought it could have been the end. But he made it. He jumped out a window. He was the last person out that window. My immature, annoying little sophomore brother let everybody else out before himself. He had to grow up that day. He had to grow up that day in a way that no 15-year-old, or frankly, anybody, should ever have to grow up. I made it that day. I was very, very, very lucky being as close as I was to the incident. My best friend did not make it. Madison was so excited for the next chapter of her life, and she was killed right before Christmas her senior year. She never got to go to prom or graduation, and she will never attend college or find her dream job. The life that she was so grateful for and so excited to live, the life that she never took for granted, was taken from her in an instant. At school, of all places. The places where us students spend years and years of our lives. The place where we meet our greatest friends and triumph in our greatest successes. School. The place where the youth in this country learn, grow, and become the adults that will one day be in charge of us all. School should be the safest place in the world for kids. No parent in this country should hesitate to give their child an education because of the fear that they might get murdered. Nothing is changing. Nothing changed after Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, or Santa Fe. Nothing changed after Oxford. Now, 19 elementary schoolers and 2 teachers have been murdered in Uvalde, Texas, and all you will give us is thoughts, prayers, and funerals. None of this should have happened. It isn't normal or natural for children to be shot in schools. That's right. We are the only country in the world where this happens at such a high rate. Like many of you, I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing new young faces on the news, barely even teenagers, fatally shot in math class. I'm tired of holding candles and crying and praying for a change that is yet to happen. I'm tired of hearing the government and even many citizens make excuses and play the blame game and do nothing and everything. You will. Tomorrow, you will still have your beloved guns that you fight so hard for. You can still walk into any shop and walk out with a brand new semi-automatic handgun in 10 minutes. But tomorrow, my best friend will still be gone. Hannah will still be gone. Tate and Justin will still be gone. So will the hundreds of other students who have died over the years to murder in school. Can't you see that this is a problem that needs immediate solving? You who have any power at all, whether you're just a local representative or a senator or even the President of the United States, us children are begging you for help. We are scared, we are angry, we are sick and tired. Please, if you have the power to save us, then save us. Our safety and well-being isn't much to ask for. To those of you who disagree with me, to those of you who want to scream in my face and wave your guns in the air, at least listen to us first. No Future Without Today is not a group focused on banning all guns. Our goals are to prevent gun violence by passing safe storage laws, magazine capacity limits, mental health reform, universal background checks, and all the things that would simply make it safe to be a gun owner. Anybody could disagree with children who are simply just asking to be safe. We don't want to take your rights away, we just want our right to live. So ask yourself this. Are you really not willing to undergo a background check and to lock your weapons in a safe just so children can go to school and come back alive? If your answer is no, then you are part of the problem that is tearing us apart. To my peers, to my classmates, to any young person who can hear this, we need you to stand with us. We are the future of this country, but there is no future without today. We have to be the change, and I have hope. I have faith in my generation. We've never been quiet listeners. We have always taken action, and we will continue to take action. There does not have to be any more additions to this horrible list. There does not have to be any more senseless gun violence or vigils or trials that last years and years. If we work together to ensure stricter gun laws and mental health reform, this does not have to be our reality. No more children have to die. This ends with us as we determine the future. Stand with me and make sure of it. This has to end with us. Let's march. Before we begin our march, we have a few more things to mention. It's going to be a 3-mile walk, including both ways, so a mile and a half each way. We will be marching down East Burdick Street, then making a turn onto Glaspie Street. We will end up at the high school, where we will host a moment of silence for the victims, and then we will march back. Remember to follow our lead, follow our chants, and most of all, stand with us in cities all over the nation as we march for our rights. If you have any questions or concerns during the march, please seek out one of our volunteers. And those of us leading the march will be wearing these pink bands so that you can easily identify us. Also, there are still free t-shirts and waters over there.